Choke, no joke, Chicky, choke, no joke. Choke, no joke, Chicky, choke, no joke. You know what it is. Keep on hating. You know what it is. Joke, no joke. I am in the building, live and direct. You are live with the legendary videographer, producer, director, Choke, no joke, with my man, my fellow Americans first in the building. Salute to you. All right. Certainty in the building. We in the playoffs. I've been over here, lost count, track of the time, watching the Knicks play the Hawks. You know, this is a win-win situation for me because, I'm going with New York first. But if New York get bumped, then I'll go with Atlanta. When Atlanta get bumped, that's it. I don't care after that. So right now we're in the third quarter and the score is 83-65. ATL losing. But this is game 4 of the series, and it is tied 2-2. So the winner here puts them. Whoever wins here is one game away from moving on in the championship, or moving on to the semifinals. You know how it go. Joke no joke, I'm in the building, man. Shout out to Riz Lyricist in the building. Shout out to Whack on Wood in the building. Shard is here. The only lovely love is in the building. All right. Bobby in the building. Pac is in the building. All right. The Observer of Thoughts is in the building. My man Dre Briggity Brown is in the building. No relation to Bobby. GT8 is here. All right. Choke no joke. We in the building, man. So unless you've been very busy today, and I know a lot of y'all work hard out there, so that's not hard to imagine that you've been busy today and may not know what's been going on out here in these YouTube streets and these entertainment streets. But that's what I am here for, Choke no joke, to bring you the current event. And Jay-Z. Is Jay-Z dropping a new album, y'all? Because Jay-Z has now just came out and dropped another interview, of course, with a non-urban outlet. No, you don't mess with the knuckles. You know, he too bougie now to do these urban podcasts, or people that know his history. He gotta go to GQ and the New York Times because I can't be doing that regular Negro stuff. I'm a bougie Negro. I'm above the level. I can't be doing those hip hop podcasts. I'm not a drink champ. You know, nah. I got to go to the New York Times, and then I got to go over to GQ. And I got to go to Esquire magazine and sit down and have a bowl of crumpets with some Grand Marnier and Grey Poupon over some trumpets and crumpets. Yes, Mr. Jay-Z, I just don't do the black stuff no more. 50 years of hip hop. No, I'll go perform for Tom Brady. You know how I do. I don't mess with you Negroes like that. Choke no joke. We're about to get in the Jay-Z interview. I'm here. Let's get the show started.
They counted me out because I didn't want to get down.
The content king is here. Let's go.
Niggas talking about God there. What God? What God are you talking about? Say his name. This nigga went Eric Benet. Now the baddest girl won't show her face. You know your ass in the way when she show up to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And you ain't even say her name. Lame, you better say Dame. In the streets, we call you roadblock. Nigga, you shot. Nigga, you block rocks. Like when Chris was about to pop. Like MJ moonwalking like Spock. You abuse your power facts. You killed the thought that's black.
Jay told me in no certain terms that, you know, no rapper can really afford to look bad in front of him. So it's almost like we gotta blackball him.
Shout out to Jay-Z for seeing the big picture here.
Yeah, and it was a hard pill to swallow.
Tariq, you kill the weeds, not the seeds that grow the trees. And as long as you alive, Dame should have a milli. Fuck you mean bleed. Nigga, don't get me started. You know I'm retarded and lion-hearted. You flipped on your peeps for those peoples in them white sheets. Like you pro-black. We pass nil and how you shit on cat.
Did you kneel or would you stand?
What?
Did you kneel or would you stand?
Okay. I think we passed kneeling.
Nigga, you got the check. The pros went back. And that's no cap. Leaving cap. With no salary cap. Your son said you his dad. And you never threw him a pass. Watching his siblings in the stands. Say lips, say no, say hands. You say the kid is not your son. They call you Hov. It must be immaculate conception.
Immaculate conception. Choke, no joke. You know we here, baby. One. How y'all feeling out there? Choke, no joke. You know what it is, my fellow Americans. You know, with my moderator, his squad is in the building. Whack on Wood is here. Rob C, what up? All right. Pac is in the building. You know the usual suspects. Y'all know how we do. I think I'm going to go live on Instagram tonight. Woo, Candy. That's Candy Cane right there. Candy looking good. Get him, Candy. Shout out to my man Kareem Smiggity. Said she all right? She all right? She just all right? All right. Kareem Smiggity says she just all right. You weren't wife that? You weren't tar that? Choke, no joke. I'm live, baby. Come on in. Come on in. Choke, no joke. We here, baby. I'm live on Instagram. I'm live on YouTube. You know how we do. I gotta go get me a cut, man. The boys rough, rugged, and raw up under here, you know. But trying to wait for this weather to break. Cause 1 minute it's hot out here, then the next minute it's cold out here, and the next minute it's raining out here, and the next minute it's cold again, and the next minute it's hot out here. So yeah, man. It is what it is. So as y'all know, you know, my son Jigga Man is back on the scene, you know, and I'm willing to bet that at this point he's probably getting ready to drop an album. This latest interview sounds like uh an album setup. Um the Knicks is up 90-72. For all y'all that's into basketball and watching the playoffs, I will keep you updated. So you can keep it locked right here. Don't think you're gonna miss the game. I'll keep you up to speed with the score. All right. So I took my time and I sat back and I watched this interview. I think I watched it twice. You know, I watched it the first time, you know, uninterrupted. Then I watched it the second time, you know, while taking, you know, conscious notes to the stuff that he was saying. Right. So for one, like I said, I believe that Jay's trying to build up not an anticipation for an album, but he's trying to build up his presence in the media, um, in front of the culture. He's trying to create awareness of his presence in the game and trying to create a presence for himself in the space of hip hop again by doing these interviews and doing these shows. So with that, I believe that he's probably going to be trying to drop an album sometime this year. It don't really make sense to do interviews like this and concerts like this if you're not selling nothing. And right now he's not selling nothing, which makes me prone to believe that he's getting ready to put out a product for sale, which more than likely would be music. Because I could tell you for a 100% fact, it won't be a casino. It won't be a casino. So I think that this is and judging by some of the things that he's saying, this is all set up for an album. Now, if this was the old Jay in the old music industry, I would think that, you know, around October, November, he'll be dropping the album. But I think that now the way the game is structured, it's like you gotta drop on the momentum instead of building the momentum and dropping. You got it whenever the momentum is there. It's like, you know, you drop unexpectedly. This is why he's doing these runs without no mentions of no albums. So it ain't no anticipation, it ain't no disappointment. Like if he drops it tomorrow, you know, like Beyonce be dropping albums unexpectedly. You know, if he just dropped it tomorrow, if it didn't do good, then he can say, or you know, I ain't do no promo for it. It ain't like we did a promo run. We just dropped it. You know, I just felt like dropping the album. You know, that day I had did some music. I just felt like dropping some, so I just dropped it. You know, and you know, it wasn't no anticipation. I wasn't trying to go platinum or nothing like that because that's what most artists uh from our era that drop music in today's climate are afraid of. They don't want to drop an album and it don't sell. And we all know it don't matter who you are. You're not selling no records right now because that's not where the entertainment business is as far as selling, a bunch of records. You lucky to sell a couple of 100,000. So we know Jay-Z and we know his ego, right? He would hate to drop a brick and have to face the people or face hip hop and say, "Oh, Jay Z's 2026 album, that nigga caught a brick. All his other albums went platinum. This one, he only sold 60,000. He back to his reasonable doubt days selling records. Like he don't want that smut on his name. So Jay's probably trying to figure out a way right now how hollering at Samsung or somebody like, yo, y'all niggas ain't dropping a new phone. Yo, I'll put the album in y'all phone so I could be certified platinum when y'all drop the new phone. You know, the game that he was running before with like the Magna Carta album, and it was another album I believe he did that with. Put the album in the phone ship 1 million units, he platinum. You know what I'm saying? But in hard sales, you won't even know what he got. And it's not like everybody that got the phone went and listened to his album, right? So Jay-Z did this New York Times interview, and like I said, in my opinion, to set up this new album release. This is why the entire interview was based around songwriting and going through his album catalog. You know, what Jay learned in that last interview was that if he does these non-urban outlets, that the interviewer will have to be off camera because we are going to be criticizing the interviewer's integrity when it comes to hip hop and hip hop culture and the history of the culture. So what he did this time was didn't let us see who was interviewing him, didn't let us hear the questions, you know, and they did it in the off camera format where they could just grab bites and put it in because we're gonna, not all of us, but people like me, I'm gonna criticize every little thing of the interview. So if I can't hear the question, then I can't critique his answer. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. Like I can't critique the interviewer's integrity of hip hop because we not sitting there hearing the back and forth between them. You know what I'm saying? But as you can see, Jay is a little above the urban experience right now. The first interview was with GQ. This one is with the New York Times. And I get it. I know y'all gonna be like, oh, Choke, he's Jay-Z. He's a billionaire. He can't just go to the Breakfast Club or he just can't go sit down. Like, he could do whatever he wants. He could do an interview with whoever he wants. But at the end of the day, for people like me, that's a hip hop historian, for people that been in the game 30 years plus, you know, that seen him come in the game in the 80s and all the way through. We want validation when it comes to these interviews. We want kickback. We want rebuttals. We want historic questions. We want to feel some type of nostalgia, right? Not nobody just that knows Jay-Z from being Beyonce's husband or, Jay-Z, they just all they know about him is he's just a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, we not, we want some we want to hear about some real history, some hard facts, right? But right now, I'm sure after he finished doing his bougie run, he'll give somebody from the culture an interview that so it will so we will be appeased, or the people like me will be like, oh, all right, well he did an interview with so and so, you know, yeah. People like, yo, Chogi, you Jay-Z should let you interview him. It'd be a ice day in hell before that happened. And then, as you can see, they didn't even credit the person who interviewed him in the credits when the thing went off. It had whoever the editor in chief is for the New York Times, but that doesn't mean necessarily that the editor in chief did the interview, because normally an editor don't do interviews. You know, that ain't their job description unless they, you know, cloud chasing or a big fan of somebody, and they want to do the interview and cut the person throat who normally does the interviews. Um, 444 sold 200 copies in the first weekend, hard copies. Thanks for the super chat, Joey Young, and the information. 200,000 the first week is great. Those are great numbers. Those are great numbers back in the day numbers. That's still good. But like I said, in the credits, you don't see they credit who was the person that did the interview, but they gave credits to everybody else that was involved in that interview, right? Because they don't want us again going to look up, yo, who interviewed Jay Z for this interview? Man, they don't know nothing about hip hop. Nah, man, get out of here. They don't want that. So they took a different approach this time with this interview. And this is also why you don't hear nobody's voice. Because if it's a person that don't even sound like they hip hop, he know that he gonna catch uh, a lot of feedback from the hip hop community. You know, and then this interview here was just another way for Jay to take some more subliminal shots at people, right? Now, the one thing that he talked about, which we all know the story, you know, Jay Z don't write rhymes; he write them in his head. You know, this, that, and other. Now that is redundant. That, but I guess depending on who's interviewing him, they may not notice. Be like, because it's common knowledge to us. So him talking about that, you know, was nothing new for a lot of us. And for me, it's believable because I came up with that same concept too when I was hustling. Because you're doing a lot, you know what I'm saying, standing outside, right? And when you out there hustling, standing around, you waiting around for fiends or whatever, you know, you be creative in your head, or at least I was. You know what I'm saying? So I started, you know, structuring my creativity in my head, and music is one of the things that I did while I was hanging out on the block or traveling or doing something. You know, if I got an idea for a song, I just start writing the song in my head. You know what I'm saying? You know, The first line, the second line, the third line, the fourth line. Back to the first line, the second line, the third line, fourth line, to the fifth line, to the sixth line, to the sixth line, to the seventh line, to the first line, to the second line, to the third line. And I would just keep doing that repetitive over and over. And then at the end of the day, or an hour or in 10 minutes, depending on the creative juices, the song is wrote in your head and it's already memorized because you wrote it in your head. So that him talking about that, I can relate to that and believe that he was doing that. But there it becomes a time when you too busy and too much is going on and too much is in your head, it'll make you sit down and write it out because it's just easier for you to write it out. Or for me it is. You know, I could do both, either or. You know what I'm saying? But that part, like I said, wasn't nothing new. So I'm sure it's the same way for Jay-Z, but even though he's bougie now. So uh I'm saying when I was out in the streets hustling, that was my way of writing music in my head. Jay-Z talking about, oh, I developed that talent when I moved away from home, you know, opposed to when his ass was out there selling drugs out of town. Talking about when I moved away from home, that's when I started writing rhymes in my head, you know, when he moved away from home. No, nigga, when you went down to Maryland, DC, and Virginia and was selling them 92 bricks that you've been bragging about your whole career, nigga. Don't get in front of Shay Whitey and change it up. When I moved away from home, when a young Sean moved away from home, I started writing rhymes in my head, because I was on the road a lot, when I moved away from home. Yeah, that was the young Sean. That's the time when I was Shawnee D. I got the name Jay Z from Nut Riding Jazzo. Jazzo was my big brother, my mentor. And so he had the name Jazzo. And I started off with Shawnee D. But Jazzo was famous. So I wanted to ride some of Jazzo's fame. So I call myself Jay Z. He was the the originator, and I was his son, Jay Z. Yeah, that's how I got that name. Yeah, he don't tell that goddamn story. um, yeah, so with his bougie self now, when he moved away from home, not when if he talked to a black person or if he was talking to a hip hop outlet, he would have been like, "Yeah, man, when I went out of town, started getting money, that's when I started writing rhymes in my head." But he over there at the New York Times, so it's when I moved away from home, you know. But you know how you talk when you in a room full of colored people, and when you are in a room full of non-colored people, your lingo changes a little bit. You know. Shout out to my man BXEarl.com, my man Preacher Earl. You know, Preacher Earl, he what you call it? He got a website, and like many of us, need to do direct to consumer, um, direct to consumer uh, sales with with our fan base, with our supporters. You know, my man Preacher Earl, he got his joint, um, bxearl.com, and you could go in there, and when you buy music on here, why they popping up? Oh, there you go. You know, when you buy the music on here, it ain't like you own it. You buy it and you download it. It ain't like with Apple Music or something. You don't pay your $10 description, all your whole playlist, everything gone. You know what I'm saying? So, he got his label and they distribution where, you know, they build your site and your store and everything, and now everything is downloaded and you own it forever. You know what I mean? And for your artists out there, you create your own store and sell your own products, and then you got to be just music, and you'll see real sales. You know what I mean? But that's my man, Preacher Earl, but bxearl.com. Check it out. But let me get back to this Jay-Z thing. Okay. Thought I'll put an image up here. So another thing that Jay-Z talked about in this interview was when he did his demo, right? Jazzo, he was running around with Jazzo. That's the late 80s. Jazzo introduced him to Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane took interest to Jay-Z, wanted to work with him, and then Big Daddy Kane did his first demo, right? Now, why are we just finding out about this? Right? When has Jay-Z ever got in an interview and talked about Kane is the one that did his first demo? So can somebody tell me this? Why now, after all these years, he want to tell the story that Big Daddy Kane is the one that did his first demo? This dude Jay-Z is something else, bro. Like, he will not give nobody they props uh unless, it benefits him or they're dead and they don't get to hear it. Right? So now he talks about the dude uh Fresh Gordon, right? And he was saying that Fresh Gordon, let me look up Fresh Gordon. Because I ain't gonna even sit here in front like I know who Fresh Gordon is. Oh, and another sidebar. The Michael Jackson movie made 200 and something million over the weekend. That's crazy. And the score right now is the New York Knicks is up 113 and the Hawks 89. And we got 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Let's go, New York. Let's go, New York. Let's go, New York. Let's go, New York. Yeah. And on the West Coast, Lout, we got the Spurs, Lout. They out 59 to the Trailblazers 37, Lout. You know what I mean? They got the Trailblazers looking like some busters out here. You know, but that series, Low, that joint is 3-1, man. They about to sweep them boys, Low. Trailblazers, y'all out of here tonight. And the Knicks and the Hawks series is tied right now, 2-2. All right, let me get back to this. Oh, so yeah, I was going to look up Fresh Gordon. Like I said, I don't know who Fresh Gordon is. That's either before my time or out my way. Oh, Fresh Gordon used to work with Jazz. He looked like Jay-Z. That's interesting. Wow. Look at this dude. Tell me this dude don't look like Jay-Z. Fresh Gordon in the Jazz. Tell me that dude don't look just like Jay-Z, yo. That's crazy. Instagram, I'm live on YouTube. All you gotta do is just go hit that link in my story. It'll bring you on the screen over on YouTube so y'all can see what we looking at. That dude look like Jay-Z. A little young Jay-Z. Well, anyway, this dude, Fresh Gordon, right here. Which call it? I think he was the one that Jay was talking about when around when he was doing his demo. Fresh Gordon, I think they may have recorded the demo with Fresh Gordon at Fresh Gordon house or something like that. I forgot what he said exactly. That but the nigga he starts talking, yeah, man, Fresh Gordon, you know. Now he know this person right here he talking to over at the New York Times. They probably don't even know who the hell Flavor Flav is, yet alone goddamn Fresh Gordon. And Jay talking about, yeah, man, Fresh Gordon. Man, you know who Fresh Gordon? And the guy's like, no. Like, I don't even know Memphis Bleak. Like, right? So Jay had to make sure though, because he don't want to start talking about Fresh Gordon, and this dude know Fresh Gordon be there to challenge Jay-Z's history on Fresh Gordon. So he like Jay, like, yo, man, you don't know Fresh Gordon? He like, no. Uh uh Fresh Gordon, right? So yeah, you know, that's the guy, yo. He the one that they urban legend says it. He's the one that really originally did the push it beat uh for Salt and Pepper. Now, as we know, uh, as the story goes, I believe Herbie Lovebug is the one that is credited for Salt and Pepper's first album as far as production goes. So I don't know if Jay is uh doing some little subliminal or dropping some tea or something that he know. But as far as I know, Herbie Lovebug is the one who produced Push It. Let's see. Herbie Lovebug, yeah. So it's like I said, as far as I know, as I always known, Herbie Lovebug Azar is the one who pushed it. Oh, okay. It say with additional input from the group and engineer Fresh Gordon, who played the famous synthesizer line. Oh, so he played the push it. All right, so he's credited. Um, Fresh Gordon is credited for playing on the produced hit record Push It by Soul and Pepper. So I don't know why Jay-Z said like Fresh Gordon is the one that really is the one that really produced it because he's credited on it. So I guess we'll be hearing from Herbie Lovebug Azar tomorrow on Instagram or something. He gonna say something. So he talked about how hanging out with Jay Z, he got to meet Big Daddy Kane, and then Big Daddy Kane wanted to work with Jay Z, and they did his first demo. So which means Jay Z's first demo was done in the '80s, and he didn't drop until what 96, 97, 96, 97. Now remember how you heard how he was rapping in that interview, talking about how his first rhyme, that joint was lyrically it was trash, his flow was trash, and he was stumbling on it himself. But for some reason, and you remember his first flow was a mimic of Jazzo's flow. And then, Kane kind of rhymed a little fast like that too when he first was out. Um, and he slowed it down later on. So I wonder who was Jay-Z listening to? And somebody's gonna tell the story someday, right? Who was Jay-Z listening to from the Jazzo to the Kane that made him switch up totally different and slow down his flow and go from just rapping just to be rapping to now talking about the streets and change up his whole flow. Who inspired that? Because we know what Jazzo inspired. We know what Kane inspired. There's somebody between after Kane to Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt that influenced Jay-Z's flow and got him to stop rapping fast like that. And I who was he around? Because Jay-Z act like he went from uh Hawaiian Sophie to Reasonable Doubt. But he didn't make that quick of a transition. He was around original flavor. He was around the producer Ski. He jacked from Camp Low, feeling it. So I don't know. Could it be Camp Low? Because he ain't get to the state property dudes yet. But you gotta remember, Jay-Z, they dropped the Can I Kick It joint. Like I said, he stole the feeling it from Camp Low. So his flow went from that Jazzo Big Daddy K to started stealing from Camp Low. There's somewhere else, there's some type of influence that changed Jay-Z's flow from the Jazzo Big Daddy Kane rap to the more laid back rap. You know what I'm saying? Talking about the streets. Somebody inspired that, but we'll never know. And then, he said he did that. He did the demo with Kane, and he took it to his uncle, and let his uncle hear it. His uncle was like, "Yo, that joint is trash." Like he always act like nobody believed him. Like I'm sure there's people that believed in him. He took it to his uncle's trash. He told his uncle, "Man, I'm gonna be bigger than LL Cool J," and his uncle's like, "Come on, Jay, get the F out of here." These are little subliminal shots he taking, like to mention LL name. You know what I'm saying? And then turn around and got in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with LL the same day. You know, those are subliminals. Like he was inspired to be bigger than LL, and then look, he got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with LL. You know, um, and then here's another thing that's new. The whole Reasonable Doubt album is based on one trip to Las Vegas. I don't think I ever heard Jay say that. I'm not saying that ain't true or not. I'm just saying, like, you sit there and you tell this to a non-urban uh platform. You do this with a person that don't know your history like that. So now you come out and you say that Reasonable Doubt album was all about a trip to Las Vegas. That will open the door for a person like I don't know, let's just say a Ed Lover or a Big Boy Neighborhood or a Angie Martinez to be like, oh, wait, Reasonable Doubt was about a trip to Vegas? So what year was that, Jay? Who was with you? Was Dame and Biggs with you when you went to Vegas? Tell us about that trip. Because now you just opened up a whole nother conversation, right? So Reasonable Doubt was all about a trip that y'all took to Vegas. So explain politics as usual. Explain Can I Live? Like break it down. If it, what was going on in Vegas that when you was writing Can I Live, where was you at? Was y'all gambling at that time? Um, like what was going on at that time, Jay? Like, let us know. Because now, all of a sudden, Reasonable Doubt is the soundtrack to a goddamn Vegas trip. Can't knock the hustle. So what do can't knock the hustle mean? The evils. What was going on in Vegas? Is that why you called the evils the evils? Because you was in the city of sin? Huh, Jay? Is the evils because you wrote that song because you was in the city of sin? Like, yeah. So somebody got to question him some more about that. Because I'm very, 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 very more interested and to hear him elaborate on Reasonable Doubt was all a trip to Vegas. And that was, that was the soundtrack. But now I got to go back and listen to it again. And so you mean when y'all went to Vegas, y'all went out there to sell drugs too? Cause ain't friend or foe about no, this nigga gotta be lying. Cause ain't friend or foe about I think he said they was in North Carolina or somewhere at the hotel or whatever. So how is about a Vegas trip, friend or foe? Nah, he's lying. He's I ain't gonna say he's lying, but he putting 10 on 20. And what was regrets about? You didn't walk away from the gambling table quick enough. What was coming to age about? Bleak first time at the on the slot machines. I done came up, put my life on the line. This nigga Jay Z, that nigga he be thinking everybody's slow, man. Reasonable Doubt was about a trip to Vegas. This nigga, he's such a liar, bro. Coming to age is that nigga taking Bleak to the Stratosphere Hotel to ride on the roller coaster. And Bleak first time being able to go in the casino. Bleak in there playing the Batman slot machine, coming of age. But then he also talked about flows, right? So Like he tried to put himself at a disadvantage tomorrow, because Rakim, his flow, you know, he come from like a jazz background. So like when he's spitting, you know, he's really like a jazz instrument. When he, and Biggie had the same thing, when I thought Biggie came from a Caribbean background. Nah, Biggie had the same thing. He come from jazz. Me, I didn't have that. Nobody in my family played instruments. Biggie, he used to have a jazz teacher come pick him up and teach him and give him jazz lessons. So, that's why he's like, Jesus, the notorious, Jesus, the lyrical Jesus. That's jazz. He get that from having the jazz. Jay-Z, shut up, bro. Nigga, shut up, bro. Please. I didn't have that. So, I had to learn on my own and like, okay, Jay-Z. I didn't have a musical background or people who played instruments. It was just a lot of music in my house. I'm like, yeah, Jay. Okay, Jay. Really, Jay? Now Biggie is nice because he had a jazz teacher. Okay, Jay. Oh, we know Jay-Z stole a lot of big stuff. That goes without saying. He took a little few shots at Pimp C too. When he was talking about collaborations. Rest in peace, Pimp C. He said when Pimp C got the beat, uh the Timberland produced track of Big Pimpin', he was like, man, what's this air, Jigga? This sound fruity. He was mocking Pimp C. Jay-Z know Pimp C don't like him, right? And he always hear these stories about people talking about how Pimp C didn't like him because Tupac ain't like him, right? So Jay was mocking him and stuff, and then he tried to clean it up and say that him and Pimp C got cool after they recorded the song. And he's talking about he felt like Pimp C was messing up the song in the beginning. Like, yo, what is he doing? Because he wasn't doing that fast flow like him and Bun B. But I'm gonna talk more about this tomorrow. I had enough of Jay-Z for the night. There's more to talk about on this interview, but I'll get back to it tomorrow. My man, Mr. We Pass Nailing. Choke no joke. Y'all know what it is. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. All right? Same bad time, same bad channel.
I do it. This is a diss, would be specific. Hit you with a sub, you blacklisted. A third tour, it's ridiculous. You in the crowd, babysitting. Mad at pics, fans flicking. You got a Billy, they dick licking. Kids, your son and dad missing. You duck in the swab, results prison. I see your faces, the mad prism. Y'all rats, are you kidding? And if you sign, you have no wisdom. Integrity missing, money mission. Lamar Latrells in your system. Camel licking, nerves switching. Are y'all kidding? Y'all Virginian. Success, y'all dream sex. Sold a lot of units, but still checks. Squares, Nike, I run with checks. People use Marcy as pets. I move his skin, you on your head. All your tunes are dead. You ugly like your dreads. No bag, I'm on your head. No fag, I'm my shooter. You the glad Duke shooter. You do balls but no hooters. Choke no joke, I am the future with no Malloy. You play with boys, be out here wishing she was a boy. You her decoy, you her bitch. Choke no joke, I am the shit. Yo Kim, get off my dick. Mad Jim, king of the dips. Without you L's, you have no hits. Your last hit was True Life. When he caught you with that right. Yo, Big Joe, am I right? Nigga Dame saved your life. And then you crossed him for home. Got on stage with Ho. You an actor, you ain't Poe. Joke, no joke. You already know. Yo, man, I'm done, man. Joke, no joke. Yeah. It's joke, no joke. Let's go. Joke, no joke. Jigga, joke, no joke.